Welcome into the Snapped Podcast, my personal audio journal. My name is Tyler Kluber. I'm a personal trainer and podcaster, but it gets a little bit deeper than that. And this show is going to give you an inside look on my thoughts concerning health and fitness, business, mindset, and creating the life that you feel lucky to live. I hope you enjoy the show. Sit back, relax, and let's have a day. I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. I don't know if you're telling your friends about the podcast or I'm getting lucky with some suggested shows. Say that one 5 times fast on the App Store or other apps that this podcast is on. It's on 7 platforms. I'm looking at the numbers here. And I know that last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was a little late to it on the podcast, but not even a month ago, we just crossed 10,000 total all-time downloads on this show. Fucking fantastic number. Clap it up for me, right? But in the last 3 weeks alone, we're already past 11,000. So I don't know what's going on. It says that we're almost to 200 downloads per episode and that the unique audience size is around 160 people. So I don't know what's going on. Crazy bastards out there listening to the Snap podcast. And it's a good time to join because, to be honest, when we get back from the extravagant adventures that we're going to be talking about here in a second, as of late in my life, we're going to revamp the show a little bit. We're probably going to do a new intro because it's just so goddamn corny. That intro is. We're probably going to redo the thumbnail or the thummy that I like to call it, that the show is based on. Right now, it's just a not high resolution photo of me after I failed to score against Ohio State. Cool photo. I'm pulling on my chin strap and kind of screaming, and I look cool in the alternate jersey, and then it just says snapped across the front of it. I think we could do better. We could do better than that. We can do better than the intro. To be honest, we could do a whole lot better on the content, but it is what it is. Here we are. And I happened to sort of slip in a mention of this show on the Washed Up Walk-Ons for the first time. Didn't put the name out there, but if you search my name on a podcast platform, then this thing probably comes up. So that's probably where we're getting a few of the extra listens. I appreciate you being here. This show, very similarly to the Washed Up Walk-Ons, has gone through a metamorphosis of sorts, an evolution, right? We started as a small single cell organism and have made our way to probably, for the Snap podcast, I'd say we're somewhere around tadpole, right? Washed Up Walk-Ons, that thing's evolved into like maybe even a land mammal. Fucking so weird with the evolution analogy. Okay. What am I doing? What am I talking about? Where's this going? Every time I do one of these, by the way, this is happening on Thursday. These are usually out on Wednesdays every week, but then there was 2 weeks in a row where I fucked up and I couldn't get the episode out on time. And then it ended up coming out on a Friday, last Friday. And now this one's coming out on a Thursday. Hopefully, well, no, next week should come out on Wednesday. But again, I'm going to be gone and I'm going to be doing it from Indianapolis, where I'll also be doing 3 episodes, the 2 main show episodes and the Dickhead Tuesday episode of Washed Up Walk-Ons from a remote location in a hotel room. That is going to be not great. Nonetheless, here we are. So let's get into what we're talking about today. I want to update you guys on my life. I mean, how fucking egocentric is that? Does that even make sense? I'm going to talk into this microphone and tell random people who tune in about what I've been doing. It doesn't even make sense to me. A little bit of a, let's say, week in review, and then a week in preview, just to keep you guys updated. And that's going to be real short. And then we're going to go into an updated quick tip version of my current protocols on training, sleep, nutrition, supplements, basically everything that's involved, because I know that people are interested. And it's not that necessarily what I do will be a recommendation, but it's simply a look into the life of Tyler Kluver, the performance life of Tyler Kluver. But we'll start with the weekend review. Last Thursday, last week was a short week. I basically worked Monday through Wednesday. And then Thursday, I was asked to come back to Iowa City. Pretty sure because Casey Kreider couldn't do it, and I'm the only other semi-viable option to come back and lead the special teams camp for the University of Iowa, which is essentially, hey, you're a high school specialist, high school kicker, punter, and long snapper. You want to get on the radar of Iowa, or say any school. 90% plus of the colleges out there are going to run a special teams camp in the summer. You basically go there, you're going to end up snapping 50 or 60 balls or kicking 50 or 60 balls in front of a coach, in front of multiple coaches. And that's great. And Coach Woods at the University of Iowa runs that whole camp. Oh, here's the yawn. There's the first yawn. For those who aren't here, there's probably an average of 3.5 to 4 yawns per episode. So there's number one. He cannot run that camp alone. So he needs somebody to sort of break off and instruct the kickers, instruct the punters, instruct the long snappers, and then run them through a charting process to sort of gather data. Some minions, if you will. And I was the head long snapping minion. So I got to go back to Iowa City and do that. Very cool to do that and see coaches and see current players and meet some guys. That's not my life anymore, right? It was my life every day. It was all my life was for 4.5 years. And then as you get gradually older and further away from that, being in the complex and around a team environment and around Division I football becomes less and less in my life. And so to go back to that time and insert myself for 4 hours, very cool, very fun, nostalgic, good for content. That was fun. From there, I basically hopped in the car. My wife, Lauren, rode with me to Iowa City. We picked up her sister along the way. While I did the camp, they went shopping and got lunch. I hop in the car. We drive 5.5 hours south to the Lake of the Ozarks, at which my wife's family has a shared cabin, a family cabin, more of a family house. Used to be a cabin. They bought a new house. It's more of a house. And we did a short vacation, long weekend at the lake. Got there late Thursday night. I was coerced into buying a 100% pure sugar syrup slushy from Sonic at 10 p.m. as we arrived. They fucking love their Sonic down. I mean, Sonic is it's the state restaurant, I think, of Missouri. That's all there is. Just Sonics. They just eat fucking foot-long chili cheese dogs and shitty milkshakes. Anyway, had all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on the lake. We woke up Monday, came home Monday. So that starts this week off short. Great time at the lake. Got a lot of sun. Got two days of actual really good workouts in the morning. Very hilly there at the lake when you have to come down in on the last 10 or 15 minutes of basically anywhere. If you live on the Ozarks, you're going to encounter some hills. So got to run some hills, took the dumbbells, took the wall ball. Good time. Came home Monday. Monday was a wash, right? No, no real work happened then. And then today's Thursday. This is the last day of this work week, another 3-day work week. I know I'm a fucking fraud. I'm a fraud. I don't work. And that's not true because I do work on the road. Try my best. But 3 days at home this week because the best friend, the homie, the broski from high school is getting married this weekend. I'm in the wedding. It's in Minnesota. Of course, there's a rehearsal dinner tomorrow afternoon and evening. So we have to be there before that to check in. 3.5 hour drive to where we're going. So we have to leave midday tomorrow. That basically takes out tomorrow. So 3-day work week this week. I was left alone to do a podcast last night by myself. Thankfully, one of the Iowa reporters, David Eichholt, jumped on and saved me with 15 to 20 minutes of good content. Then I hopped on and did a guest appearance on somebody else's podcast. That one is called Old Man Strength. You search that in any of the podcast apps. I'm the most recent episode. And that's basically the last week for me. The next 7 days, again, like I said, tomorrow we're going to get up. We're going to drive to Minneapolis. We're going a little early since we're taking it's basically a day off anyway. So I'm going to work out in the morning. I think that's important. If there's anything that you should care about from this fucking personal anecdote of my last and next 14 days, it's that throughout all of this travel back and forth to Iowa City, to the lake, back home to Minnesota, then we're flying to Indianapolis. We've got a lot of travel. I'll get there in a second. The work doesn't stop. Your gains, your progress doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't care. That's the way it is. If I just worked out on the days when I woke up at the house here in Waukee and felt good for working out, over the last 2 weeks, I would have gotten in like 5 workouts. If you think it's hard to stay dedicated while you're on vacation down at the lake or on the day that you need to leave for your best friend's wedding, like, that's fine. But there's people out there who get it done. They find ways. I try to be one of those people, right? The 2 training days that I had down at the lake, Friday, Saturday, I took Sunday off. I woke up and did a 90 minute to 2 hour workout both days while the family was sleeping, right? Everybody's sleeping in, wife sleeps in. I get back, I walk, I'm drenched in sweat. It's fucking 85, 90 degrees there, humid as shit. Got to get it in. You have to get the work in. If you don't, you're not getting better. If I decide on those days, and there's a lot of them that pop up, 4, 5, 6 of them just in the last 2 weeks, add another 4 next week. 10 days in a 2 to 3 week time span where it's just, I don't have all the equipment I need. And it's a little tough to fit it in time wise. And I've been traveling, so I'm tired. None of it fucking matters. Next year, when the CrossFit quarterfinals come around and they come out with 5 or 6 workouts over the course of that weekend, and I'm asked to do those tests, and then my performance garners a score, and that score is cross compared against everybody else that's in the quarterfinals, and they're trying to find out who the top 120 individuals are in the country to take to the next level of semifinals, which I have designated as my goal. Nobody in that process is going to throw their hand up and say, whoa, oh, oh. But hold on, give Tyler a few more points because back in June, he was on a couple vacations and he couldn't work out a few of those days. And if he would have, he'd be a little bit more fit and probably a little, maybe a couple pounds stronger on this. Like, no one's doing that. No one's coming to save me. No one gives a fuck. And that's my personal situation. Maybe it's not that direct or clear for most people, but maybe it's in a year you told yourself you wanted to have a 6-pack, or you wanted to bench 225, or you wanted to run a sub 7-minute mile or a sub 22-minute 5K, or you wanted to run a half marathon. And whatever that goal is, in the end, while people surface level care and show support and cheer you on, in the end, nobody gives a fuck about your goal. You have to take control and total ownership of it. And I don't know why you'd want it any other way. You get to have total control of the effort you put in towards whatever goal you're working towards. The problem then becomes when people aren't great at sticking to what they said they were going to do, when they're not disciplined, when they're not as dedicated. That's a tough self-realization for the majority of people who realize, oh, fuck, I'm not that guy. I'm just average. I wake up every day and try to be that guy. The extraordinary. The guy who works out on vacation and the family thinks he's crazy. The guy who tomorrow I'm going to work out for 2 to 3 hours before we jump in the car to go to a wedding. The morning of the wedding, right? We have breakfast with the bridal party. Jesus Christ. I'm a fucking bridesmaid now. I'm maid of honor. With the wedding party, and I'm going to wake up and get probably a 90 minute to 2 hour session in the hotel gym before we do that. You have to be that guy. I'm not special either. I'm just deciding to do it. And you have to decide to do it without the promise of your goal happening for sure, 100%. You don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know if you're going to be able to run that mile in less than 7 minutes. You're not sure that in 3 months you will bench 225 for 10 reps. You don't know that in 6 months you're going to have 6-pack abs. You just have to trust the process and know that there's 2 options. You either do put in the work and you maybe get there, or you don't put in the work and you absolutely don't make it. It seems pretty binary to me. Pretty black and white. And for those that are new here, that's me ranting for 5 to 10 minutes on my soapbox about people who aren't disciplined. And I didn't even plan for that. So let's get back to where we're going. Wedding, right? Tomorrow we'll do the rehearsal dinner, right? Wake up, work out, do the wedding shit, right? Take pictures, fucking party bus, all that stuff. Wedding, reception, party, wake up Sunday morning. Thank God that it kind of works out that that's a travel day because it's also a rest day for me personally. And we will then hop on a plane. My family will take our car back here home to Iowa while they drop us off at the Minneapolis airport. Lauren and I will hop on a plane. We will fly from Indianapolis. We will fly from Minneapolis to Indianapolis. Fucking Annapolis. Might as well add in Annapolis, Maryland in there as well. No, we'll go to Indiana, where we will arrive Sunday night. And from Sunday night until Thursday afternoon, we will be in downtown Indianapolis for club volleyball nationals. Lauren coaches club volleyball. Their team is pretty good, played out of their ass in the biggest tournament of the year and nabbed a qualifying bid for the national tournament, where they are ranked as a top 100 team in the country, which is pretty good, right? And then, they've got 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of playing volleyball. And I will be working from Indianapolis / being there to watch the volleyball and be with Lauren. So a week from today, we will then drive our ass home with the assistant coach to Lauren's team in the van that she is driving there on Sunday while we fly there from Minnesota. So we've got some busy shit going on. A lot of busy shit. And that was actually, I told you guys I was going to update you on all the protocol that I'm doing, but this episode has actually turned into its own episode. And I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's going to be something. And I don't want to sit here and yell at people for no reason who didn't ask to be yelled at anymore. Next week seems like an easy topic for me to talk about and go over quickly. And I don't need a lot of outside resources, meaning my full desktop setup that I have here. I will go over my current protocol for training hours per week, training volume, what the sort of the bigger pillars of that training looks like, how I'm approaching that mentally and structurally as a training plan. Hopefully you guys can pull tidbits of information from that to kind of maybe restructure or reshape what your weekly training looks like. I'll maybe talk a little bit about my goals and how I phase those out. I've got goals to be at this level of this movement 6 months from now. How do I then attack that specific weakness or strength movement or exercise for the next 6 months? What does that look like? And then as well as what supplements am I taking at what times of the day and what dosages, the reasons behind me taking those supplements, what my nutrition looks like right now. I'll probably give you a rough macro breakdown. Though I'm not super particular or very specific about that. And then maybe some sleep and hydration protocol as well of Tyler Kluver in June of 2022, but that'll be next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. For anybody that was new here, let me know, send me a DM. Hey, heard you talk about the podcast, searched it up, found you, listened to the latest episode. Tell me I fucking suck ass at solo podcasting or that you don't care about what I talked about today. And that's cool. That's why I don't really promote this. It's a health and fitness and lifestyle podcast of like, hey, that anybody wants to follow this budget ass F tier, local Iowa wannabe influencer. That is Tyler Kluver. Yeah, it's just a 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes last week it was like 50 minutes, my bad, of me just rambling, something to fill your ears with while you mow the yard or fall asleep at night or fucking drive to work. I'm glad you're here. Every single one of you. Love you guys. We'll talk next week from Indianapolis. Until then, peace.